The topic for today is TomTom's Observability Governance Framework, and we'll talk about how the journey has been for TomTom and where do we stand today. So about me, Nikhil Gupta. I am head of API and reliability platform in TomTom. Been full stack developer before the term full stack came into existence, I believe. Done front end, back end, jQuery, database, whatever you call. So been there. Been engineering manager since many years now, and with TomTom for almost 3 years or close to 3 years, and leading observability from 2024. So now about TomTom. So how many of you know about TomTom? All of you, okay. Do you know what TomTom is known for? Navigations, yes. The device? No, we don't make devices anymore that much, right? So now we are leading in the maps and in the traffic and also in the software around maps and traffic as well. As you can see, we have Orbis. Orbis is one of our new maps platform. What we do with Orbis is we integrate different data sources. As you can see, we cover 235 countries. We have 5 billion eyes or data sources. What does that mean? That we integrate data from various sources. It can be small, big, or medium size. We have data coming from Overture Foundation. We have data coming from OpenStreetMaps. We have data coming from various proprietary data sources that TomTom has. But now we also have the possibility to bring in your own data. So you can bring in your own data, integrate with Orbis Maps, and you have a big data source available for you. If you know what is Overture Maps, if not, Overture Maps is a foundation created with Amazon, Meta, Microsoft, and TomTom. And it is governed by the Linux Foundation. And TomTom has been the founding member of the organization. That's about TomTom. That's about me. And now about the problem, right? In software world, we always start with the problem. And the problem that TomTom had, and that has been shared by the two speakers before me, we have a lot of tools, right? And when I say a lot of tools, the count does not matter, but at least the categories matter. We have tools which are self-hosted. We have observability tools which are cloud native. We have observability tools which are cloud agnostic. So what do you do then, right? From a user experience point of view, it's not a great user experience. We have logs somewhere else, we have metrics somewhere else, we have alerts somewhere else, and when there is an incident, yeah, you know how it goes, right? Along with that, traceability. Traceability was a big problem at some point in time. When I say traceability, again, since the data is so distributed, it's extremely difficult to connect. Today, in one of the presentations, we saw there was a term, trace ID. But imagine if this is not the only term used in your company. You have correlation ID, you have trace ID, you have request ID, you have, I don't know, whatever else exists in the world. And it is extremely difficult during RCAs. It is extremely difficult to navigate through one request that comes from a user application, goes to an API gateway, and then goes to 10 different backend services to, let's say, gather the data. And if something breaks, it takes hours to come to a root cause analysis and conclude and find the mitigation around it as well. Inconsistency of the data format. Dates are usually the biggest problems. So dates are in all different possible formats that exist in the world. And when you consolidate, are trying to consolidate a dashboard or build a dashboard using all of this data and data sources, imagine how much effort it takes for an engineer to build such a dashboard, right? Convert dates, convert JSON format into a different format, unstructured data into structured data as well. We also had problem with alerts as well. And what is the problem with alerts? The alerts create alert fatigue, right? So since there are alerts which do not clearly define the severity or define the owners, sometimes the alerts are going to different teams. Right? If there is an alert on the product level, it goes to 10 different technical services. That creates alert fatigues for our engineers. Nobody wants to wake up in the middle of the night. Right? Nobody likes that. Another set of problems, we talk about access control and access management. So sensitivity of the data, right? Who gets access to the data? Who can see the data? During an incident, does everybody has access to the data? Is it the on-call engineer who has access to the data? So that was also a big problem. How do we define access, and also how do we define the data residency? Right? So TomTom has global users, and some of our users or customers have requirements to keep our data in a specific region. These days, the EU data residency is a big topic. So you might have heard about like various companies, AWS, Microsoft, they are talking about bringing their data in the EU and not in the US, or also having challenges in terms of defining how do they comply with data residency in EU. Last, not the least, observability unit cost. We talked about today also the cost or the total cost of ownership. For us, we call it observability unit cost. What does it mean by observability unit cost? You have logs, you have metrics, you have alerts, and then you pay for infrastructure or license cost and stuff. And then you try to identify how much is the unit cost for it, because in the end, you want to get the maximum value out of it. So for that, it was extremely high because for one thing, we did not know who is sending logs, right? So there was no clear ownership of the logs. There were logs, there were metrics, there were alerts, but some of them were really rogue. So maybe 20, 30% of the data was rogue. We didn't know who was sending it, and we could not categorize it as well. So when you have so many problems, as the title says, more tools does not mean more insights. It creates more problems for us. So what we did, we went ahead and we said, okay, let's solve the problem by defining certain goals. Right? In the first slide, Tom explained the using chess, the analogy, how you define your business goals and then how you define the project, you get the buy-in from stakeholders and other things as well. So we did the same as well. We defined certain goals for ourselves. We said we want to have a transparent observability spend mapped to the service ownership as well. So we want to know exactly which team owns which services and which services generate what kind of observability data. Of course, we wanted to reduce our MTTR and MTTD as well, because in the end, that is what is important. When we sell our products to our customers, one of the selling point is we are better than Google in terms of better MTTR and MTTD. Developer productivity and efficiency. In the end, if you have 6, 7, 10 different tools, I think in one of the slides it said 101. So not all companies have 101, but still many. The developer efficiency and productivity is extremely low because during your day debugging or during incident, you have to navigate through many tools. And last but not the least is standardizing observability. Like I said, data formats were a mess. Traceability was a mess. So we said we need to have a standard way how we handle observability across TomTom. So what did this lead to? This led to an observability governance framework where we are trying to establish a observability golden path. And what does observability golden path means? It means that among all the tools, we identify what is the tool for the next n number of years, because we can define clearly the return of investment by investing in that tool as well. We talked about instrumentation via OpenTelemetry, because OpenTelemetry is now the new standard in the industry, and TomTom doesn't want to stay behind. I think we are one of the early adopters of OpenTelemetry, if you look into the OpenTelemetry website. We also wanted to use Loki for logs, and Memir and Tempo for metrics and profile data as well. But why do we wanted to use it? Because it's quite an open standard as well. Like some of the other slides mentioned, Grafana has 3 different models. You have open source, and you have enterprise, and you can manage your own as well. Along with that, all of this is important, but if you do not define the correct service level objectives and indicators, it's not going to work. Right? So we sell our products, our customers come to us with an SLA demand, and unless we start monitoring our SLIs and SLOs, it's not going to work for us. So this is one of the things where we want to invest. The next is application command center. What does it actually mean? It's a big word, but what it actually means is a single pane where we have all the services defined that exist in TomTom, be it a infrastructure service, be it a technical service, be it a business service that we owe. And in one view, people can see what are the different SLOs, health checks, and metrics and data and quality around all of them as well. And the last is automated incident management. So as I said, incident handling was quite a pain. So we definitely want to invest in incident management as well. Going back to the establishing observability golden path, what we did was we defined what are the pre-approved tools available in TomTom, and we said out of these pre-approved tools, which tools are in a state where you can adopt, which tools are in a state where we are on hold, which tools are in a state where they should be decommissioned as well. What this did was this clearly defined which tools are the tools where we are investing in future. With the SLOs and SLIs, what we did was we wanted to make sure that we have a clear ownership. Today, in the breakout, we were talking about we have ServiceNow as our, let's say, incident management tool, but we are trying to now use Grafana on call to integrate both of these. So we use Grafana on call to handle our schedules and on call, and we are integrating with ServiceNow where we handle our incidents. So this tight coupling between the both tools will help us have a streamlined view of how our incidents are like and what are the what is the base data behind these incidents as well. And how Grafana helps us in powering this journey is with Grafana, we reached a unified observability platform. It's a single platform where we have logs, where we have metrics, where we have traces, where we have on-call. So as an engineer, when you are on call, you can go into a single tool, and you can look into the single, let's say, dashboard, and you can get all the view from it as well. Incident response management, like I explained, we are working with Grafana on IRM, which is Grafana on call in the past, and we are integrating it with our ServiceNow capabilities. How it helps is that the ServiceNow, the incident management team has more control on how they want to represent the incidents for the company, and we have more control in terms of how the schedules are like, how they are connected with the incidents, how they are connected with the data, telemetry data in the background as well. Last but not the least, the most important one from my perspective is the observability unit costs. So in Grafana, we also saw in some of the slides the adaptive metrics, adaptive logs, and adaptive traces. So with Grafana, we are constantly working together to optimize our log usage, our metrics usage, and our traces as well. So I'm quite happy to say that last month, we actually reduced 20% of our metrics, which reduced 20% of our cost as well on metrics. How does the road ahead looks like for us? So we want to establish an instrumentation score. What does it actually mean? It means each service will be able to quantify the quality that they deliver. When I say instrumentation score, it also means all the attributes that are in your logs and in metrics, are they necessary to be there? Are they important to be there? And what we define as the observability team, the most important attributes, are they in your instrumentation or not? What it will help us is it reduce waste on one side, but it also increases the quality of the data that we have. We want to expand our application command center. So we want to connect these services with ownership. And we want to make sure that when a person is looking at a service, they are able to see the logs, the metrics, the traces, and the quality of the data all together in one view as well. Like I said, centralized SLO and SLI governance. This is most important for us because it also is connected with external customers. We want to centralize it. Today, it is not centralized, it's decentralized. Different teams manage their own SLOs, SLIs, but we want to offer a single view of it because it helps not just the engineers, but also the executives to understand the quality of the services they are accountable for. The next is machine learning driven anomaly detection. We learned today in some of the slides as well, Grafana is also investing in AI. So that is something that is also on our radar where we want to invest. How we want to invest is today there is a lot of manual effort needed in terms of analyzing the observability data, converting it into incidents, and then converting into post-incident activities as well, right? So creating RCAs, creating postmortems as well. So we would like to invest in AI and machine learning because this is the next big thing. And then we want to connect or extract the data that is available in Grafana and use it to build our RCAs and postmortems afterwards as well. The last but not the least is the front-end observability and the monitoring, Kubernetes monitoring. So in the last 1 year, what we have done is we have tried to consolidate our observability journey towards Grafana. That means our logs and metrics are already in Grafana. So let's say 60-70% of our backends are already covered using OpenTelemetry and Grafana, integrated into Grafana's platform as well. But we are still lagging the end-to-end user experience that we were talking about in the earlier as well. So we have front-end applications, so a user makes some request, but today we don't have a connection how things are happening in the backend. If somebody is calling our APIs, even if there are 10 APIs connected together, we know today how they are connected, what is breaking, what is not breaking. But now we want to uplift it, and we want to connect it with the end-user experience as well. Why is Kubernetes monitoring important for us? Because at TomTom, we are building our own Kubernetes platform. Many companies do it for the cost purposes as well. And we talked about fleet management. We looked into some slides, and it was about fleet management. Our fleet management in TomTom is 1,200, 1,300 Kubernetes clusters. And it's a nightmare for our engineering teams to understand which cluster is breaking, which cluster is not breaking, what is going wrong with one cluster and another cluster. So we want to invest in Kubernetes monitoring specifically to ensure that we offer a reliable Kubernetes platform all across. That's pretty much it from my side. So this is my LinkedIn QR code, and I'm open for questions now. Thanks.